To proceed, ladies and gentlemen, I'd let you know that we are utmost grateful and privileged for the towering presence of our chief guest and our guest of honor. We have Mr. Shireesh Joshi, Chief Business Officer of ONDC, joining us as a guest of honor for a fireside chat on how ONDC will be a game changer for India's e-commerce industry. We also have Shri Anil Agarwal, Additional Secretary DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, joining us as a chief guest who will also address us shortly. Now, the right moment for me to call upon the power man behind Saral. Gives me utmost pleasure to invite the CEO of Unicommerce on stage. Let's give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kapil Makhija. Warm welcome, Mr. Makhija.
Thank you, Ruchi. I hope I'm audible. Great. Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to India's largest e-commerce summit, Saral 2022, organized by Unicommerce. After two very successful editions of Saral held virtually in 2020 and 2021, we are quite excited to host our very first in-person summit here at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, and we welcome you all. The last 2 years of the pandemic have shown how e-commerce and online shopping have become a way of life and an intrinsic part of retail. And we gather today to celebrate the success of this industry's breathtaking growth journey during this time. We are joined today by 30+ experts who will share their insights and best practices on how to build a large and profitable e-commerce business, while ensuring that there is enough deep dive through specific examples on journeys of large e-commerce businesses that they have been a part of or that they have worked with. We know that the aim of this event is to ensure that the entire industry moves forward in this new era of e-commerce and retail through innovation. While businesses today grapple with a lot of increased complexity, heightened user expectations, our endeavor at Saral is to ensure to deliver a learning experience so that all of you are able to answer business-related queries and, more importantly, get some actionable insights to shape a better future for your brand. Technology has played a pivotal role in these last 2 years for businesses to navigate through all the certainties that they had to go through in the last 2 years. And we have been inspired by so many stories around us about companies and businesses who have deployed technology to deliver growth for their business as well as a long-term ROI. In light of this, we have curated a very specific agenda to ensure that you are able to learn about building a strong e-commerce business. The panel discussions will include evolving nature of new age channels, building tech-focused e-commerce businesses, post-pandemic e-commerce trends, omni-channel retailing, scaling D2C businesses, to name a few. In addition, we will have a fireside chat on ONDC democratizing e-commerce with Mr. Shireesh Joshi, Chief Business Officer, ONDC, along with a special address by Shri Anil Agarwal, Additional Secretary, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, who will be our chief guest and will share his insights about the changing face of Indian e-commerce and its impact on the economy. Unicommerce has been serving e-commerce businesses or powering e-commerce businesses through technology for over a decade now, and we are India's largest platform, working with 15,000+ businesses across India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, in streamlining the supply chain and powering the post-purchase experience. We stand for simplifying e-commerce selling, and Saral is one of our key initiatives in fulfilling that mission. We hope that you're all able to make the best out of the day-long summit that we have organized for you, and we can all work together in making sure that the industry moves forward. Thanks once again for coming in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makhija, for that wonderful insight on what we have in store for today. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, on behalf of Unicommerce, I am your host, welcoming you all to this remarkable event. हमारे भारत के धर्म, सभ्यता, संस्कृति, साहित्य, चिंतन एवं कला में किसी भी शुभ कार्य को करने से पहले दीप प्रज्वलन यानी कि लैंप लाइटिंग सेरेमनी की प्रथा है और आज भी हम इसी तरह आज के इस इवेंट की शुरुआत करेंगे। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। For the lamp lighting ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, may we now invite and welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Shireesh Joshi, Chief Business Officer, ONDC. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And along with him, we would love to have Mr. Kapil Makhija, CEO, Unicommerce, Mr. Nayan Ratandhayara, CEO, Shipyaari. Let's keep the applause coming as we welcome our wonderful gentlemen. And of course, we would love to have Mr. Gaurav Gupta, co-founder Shipway, for the lamp lighting ceremony here on the stage. Please step forward, gentlemen. We will be having the lamp lighting ceremony here. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. May Divine Almighty take us from false knowledge to the truth, from darkness to the light, and from fear of death to assurance of immortality. With the purity and sacredness of these sacred words, and with the beautiful energy of the lamp, we will now be starting this beautiful event. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thank you, everyone, for being a part of this beautiful ceremony. Now, let's start the day with a fireside chat on ONDC. ONDC is poised to be a game changer for India's retail industry, with our guest of honor, Mr. Shireesh Joshi, of course, Chief Business Officer, ONDC. Mr. Shireesh Joshi is a strategist, marketer, and digital evangelist and holds an MBA in marketing from IIM Bangalore and a BTech in electronics from IIT Kanpur. He has worked on businesses across India, China, and South Asia, working with various cultures and languages, and has led multiple projects at Procter & Gamble, PepsiCo, Airtel, and Godrej, and other leading companies, of course. He has over 28 years of rich experience delivering successful results with organizations and teams of varying capability and scale. I'm sure we're going to get great opportunities today to interact and learn from his wonderful experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, with your love and your long, long applause, let's welcome Mr. Shireesh Joshi on the stage. And I would love to request Mr. Kapil Makhija to present a welcome token to Mr. Shireesh and initiate the fireside chat. And another warm round of applause goes perfectly with the bouquet. Picture perfect moment.
Thank you so much, Shireesh, for taking our time and joining us today for this session and the summit.
My pleasure. Good morning, everyone.
There's a lot of talk about ONDC, Shireesh, and we've been engaging for quite some time. but we feel that there's a lot more to ONDC and people probably know a little bit. I would want to, because see, there's a lot of buzz, rightly so, because of the success of UPI, and ONDC is obviously standing for democratizing e-commerce. And as we've seen in the last 2 years, e-commerce has kind of become a way of life. I think we may want to start the fireside chat by first hearing your thoughts about what ONDC stands for and demystifying what e-commerce or simplifying what ONDC is for retail brands, for e-commerce marketplaces and players like us.
Sure. And I think that's an important question because moment the subject of e-commerce comes up, everybody knows e-commerce. Everybody has done it. People have bought, people have sold. Because they have done it, that's their measure, that's their understanding of what e-commerce is. And so as soon as they hear ONDC has something to do with e-commerce, their automatic thought is, oh, so ONDC is another one of those solutions. It's not, right? And so the first thing to understand is that whenever you compare ONDC with anything in e-commerce today, you are by definition comparing apples and oranges. Now, let me explain it through several parallels because that's the only way it'll start to make sense. Think about the internet. Internet, there is something called HTTP protocol or HTTP as the secure version. That's a protocol. Now, there are browsers, there are websites, there are publishers of websites and hosts of websites, there are search engines embedded in the browsers, but the protocol is HTTP. Think about email. There is an SMTP protocol that allows emails to talk to each other. So there's an understanding that an email address must be something at something dot something. That's a protocol. Now, once everybody is following a protocol, then it doesn't matter which email application is in use, how people are connected with which internet service provider, but both parties can interact with each other. Think about payments. So what happens in payments? One party can have an account in one bank, the other party can have an account in another bank. If you're using UPI as the means of making that payment, then both the parties can be using completely different applications. Yet, you can send money from one party to another. And that's not just India, right? If you're doing internationally, SWIFT will play the same role. So there are protocols and there are mechanisms by which two parties who are interacting for any purpose, whether it is for sending an email, whether it is for just exchanging information through websites, or whether it is for making payments, both parties do not need to be on the same platform. What that does is it creates an open network. So if I want to, let's say, be read about, I can publish my information on any website, on any platform, and any user anywhere in the world using any browser will be able to find it. I don't need to go and register on a particular browser for users of that browser to see me. Now, that's the experience we have on the internet, in payment, in banking, and in emails. We don't have that in e-commerce. E-commerce today takes place only when somebody has stitched together the entire end-to-end process and the buyer and seller are both registered on that same application or same platform. If they're not, they cannot have a transaction. Because of which, therefore, people become specialists. Right? So if you want to order a cab, you'll go to a certain set of applications. You want to order food, you go to a different set of applications. You want to book flight tickets, you'll go to another set of applications or directly to the providers. You want to buy household items, you go to yet another one. So we've got trained that e-commerce only takes place when everything is put together by one entity and it is specialized in something. We're not trained on the universality. Right? So when internet first came, who knew social media would happen? But it did happen. But you didn't need to define that social media is possible for people to understand internet back then. So what happens is that any capability, and ONDC is a capability, it's not a product. Right? So every time you compare ONDC with an existing solution, you are thinking ONDC is a product. It's not a product. It's a capability. And that capability is a flexible capability that allows combination of many kinds of elements to come together. So ONDC, think of it as ONDC enables jigsaw puzzles to get completed. Any one of you, whichever business you're in, is one of those pieces. But for the e-commerce solution to get completed with you as one of the pieces, you need other pieces. You don't have to find them. The ONDC network will help you locate them on the fly in milliseconds. You will connect with them and one particular picture will get formed. Tomorrow for a different transaction, you are still the same piece, but a different set of pieces will join you and a different picture gets formed. And so e-commerce will change from fixed, predefined solution to a flexible system where depending on what the buyer's requirement is and what the seller's requirement is, you should be able to mix and match and create on the fly any combination. So a few examples, and these are just illustrations, right? So it's like saying, I've built Play-Doh, and you ask me what can you make from it, and I will show you one or two things. That doesn't mean that's the only thing you can make from it, right? So when I give these two illustrations, don't take it to mean that this is the only thing that's possible, but I hope it flexes your mind to think about what's possible. So really, the possibilities are only limited by your imagination. So now think about, and this is an example we give as an illustration often, is that think about somebody who's based in Delhi who gets relocated for a one-year assignment to Kerala. And so that triggers 4 requirements. I need suitcases to pack my stuff. I need a flight ticket to get there. I need a service apartment for a year. And maybe because I'm going to a place with a different language, I also want to learn the local language. Today, I can't do that in one place. To buy suitcases, I will have to go to one place. To book my flight ticket, I have to go to another place. To book my hotel room or my service apartment, I go to a third place. And if I want to learn the language, I might do an internet search, find out providers, contact them by email or phone and do it. So 4 needs, 4 different journeys, 4 platforms, 4 checkouts, 4 completely different experiences. But on ONDC, once there's an application and all the providers are present, through a single application, you can add suitcase to cart, you can add flight ticket to cart, hotel room to cart, language lessons to cart, checkout. So you'll be able to combine and access all domains through a single solution. So that's one. Let's look at other use cases. And this is a highly specialized one, but I'm doing it merely to stretch people's imagination. Right? Let's say after this conference, I have a flight to catch. Kapil will release me at 12 o'clock. I have a flight at 4 o'clock. I suddenly realized I left my mobile charger at home. Now there's no way I can go home and pick it up. Now I'm going from Jawaharlal Stadium to Indira Gandhi Airport. There's a path that I'm taking. Could I enter that path as a search characteristic? And to be able to find mobile chargers selling locations so that I have a minimum deviation. Right? So when I shop from home, I can do shop near me. But there's a path. So this is not a location. Right? So can I shop from near me? Can I find a delivery partner who I can share my travel itinerary to, who can meet me at some location or can even potentially meet me at the airport? Or could I discover a store at the airport so that I can pick it up there? Right? So this is a buyer's requirement, a seller's capability, some technological components all coming together, and that's a different use case and a different solution. So the whole idea is that if we unbundle e-commerce and let each people just focus on their piece, do that piece well, then users will be able to combine different pieces and be able to create their own solution. I could be a seller in one location. Let's say I'm a bamboo chair manufacturer in one village, and I have somebody interested in the neighboring village who's interested in buying it. Now, I do not want this monolith e-commerce system where a bike rider will come from the nearest town, pick up that chair, take it back to that town, put it in their central warehouse, then it is automatically, we have visitors parking, and all the residents have to park in the basement. So the condominium said, if residents start parking their fee in the visitors thing, it blocks the space, and that's not the intent. We'll charge a fine. And there are some people who said, okay, charge the fine, but we will park outside. Right? So now it has had the opposite effect. Because if that's all it costs me, then that's fine by me. So don't assume that because you've built a solution, it works exactly. So the goal of the public opening is to take that limited menu, the limited assortment that we have in 2 domains. Now it's limited from a broader perspective, but it is sufficient for an experience. Now we want to see in real behavior terms, that in real behavior, does it work exactly as intended? Do people figure out, or does it matter that it is being unbundled, or they never figure out, which is great, because we don't want them to consciously be thinking this is an unbundled world coming together. And what is the experience? If there is any aspect of the delivery they want to raise an issue against, did that go through smoothly? So they raised it with the buyer application. With the buyer application related to the seller, was the seller able to satisfy, not satisfy? We will learn that through those examples. And what are people expecting? Right? Is there a gap? So there is a behavioral side that we will learn, which will confirm the final stage. Once the behavioral stage is confirmed, then it goes broader. So we are doing the final stage of the physical use case testing, which is the pilot phase, to say, yes, we are now ready to make it open.
Great. We are very excited and looking forward to the launch. One final question, Shireesh. I think ONDC is always compared to UPI because of the huge success that UPI was able to deliver. Does that mean added pressure on you and your team to deliver the same kind of scale that UPI has been able to do?
Not at all, actually. And we're grateful that ONDC has come at a time when e-commerce in the country is more than 10 years old, and UPI has already happened. So people understand how to shop online. We don't have to teach them that. And people understand how unbundled works. Right? So, in fact, there are applications to advertise. Somebody goes into a store, and the store has a placard of a different payment application and says, oh, what do I do? And it says, no problem, you can pay through any other application, because the idea is anybody can pay and receive from any application. So they've already taught the idea of interoperability. They've already made it possible for people to understand that anybody can use a mobile to do 2-party transaction where both parties are not in the same place. And people know online shopping. So we have a lot of ground covered that will help people understand. Yet, because it is so different from existing e-commerce, it will take the ecosystem as well as end users to recognize. Now, the difference actually is less for the end buyer and seller. For a buyer, it's the same journey even on ONDC. I searched for an item, I got options, I added to cart, I made a payment, I checked out, and I started receiving tracking information. So the buyer may not actually feel as much. But people who are participating and who are providing the buyer-seller application services, for them it's a dramatic departure. And I see many of them struggling to come to grips with exactly what it is, how it is different, how it is flexible, and to be able to create. Even for a seller, and especially at early stages, we expect that many of the sellers will basically just be providers, and it will be the applications that will play the marketplace role, accept the orders, and deal with the network. The seller simply receives the order, packs it, keeps it ready, somebody picks it up, and he's done. So the participation from the seller and buyer may be relatively simpler, but the ecosystem has a lot of understanding and capability building to be done to be able to work. So that's where I think the bulk of the load will be.
Thank you so much, Shireesh, for sharing your insights and this excellent session. I think I can speak on behalf of everyone. We are quite excited about the launch of ONDC. And we firmly believe that it will take e-commerce to newer heights. And thanks for all your contributions so far on this.
Sure. Thank you all. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And anybody who's interested in learning more about ONDC, we do a briefing call every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Write to team@ondc.org, team@ondc.org. Remember, it's .org, not .com. So team@ondc.org. Let us know your interest, and we'll share the link with you. It's completely open. So use that to understand. Once you understand that, the follow-up to that will have all the other implementation steps. So I don't need to explain them, but that really is the first step. So reach out and understand more. There we talk a little bit more detail about what I've said here. So you get to really understand what ONDC is about and how it can work for you. So thank you all, and good luck.
Thanks, Shireesh.
That was really insightful. Thank you so much, Mr. Shireesh Joshi, for sharing the vision behind ONDC. Ladies and gentlemen, please won't you help me welcome now CEO Shipyaari to share his thoughts on Saral. Let's welcome with a big round of applause, Mr. Nayan Ratandhayara. Warm welcome, Mr. Ratandhayara. How are we feeling today?
So I'm excited to be here and seeing that what is the lovely audience we are having it, and I must say that the Fireside chat with Shireesh and Kapil was impressive, and I'm looking forward for more sessions in the day coming. And just looking as an audience, I wanted to learn new thing here is what I came here for, that so that you learn every day, you be a greater achievement of the next day is something what I'm looking for here, and I'm looking forward to the most of the sessions here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ratandhayara, for the short and sweet welcome note. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with your big round of applause, we would now be inviting co-founder Shipway on the stage to share his thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Gaurav Gupta.
Hello everyone, good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Gaurav Gupta, co-founder of Shipway. So at Shipway, we are making e-commerce easier for everyone, and basically for the e-commerce sellers. We are providing enterprise-grade technology to automate their complete shipping processes and automate their back-office operations in order to provide a seamless user experience and bring efficiency to their businesses. So for the last couple of years, I think it's been an amazing ride for everyone in the industry, and the industry is well poised to grow leaps and bounds in the years to come, because the entire ecosystem is contributing in the growth story. Entire ecosystem is adding value, be it the shipping providers, be it the enablers, or be it the influencers, be it the end customers. So, and some of the trends that we are seeing in the e-commerce industry, that nowadays the entry barrier is very less. It's easier to grow your brand and take it to the international markets. Earlier the trend was every international market we used to purchase and buy that product because it's an international brand. Now we are seeing a lot of Indian brands going international, and it's all because the entry barrier is very less. And another trend that we are seeing is with rising income levels and more income and more disposable income, and penetration of internet in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So there is a deeper level of more growth in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities for the e-commerce in the next years to come. Another trend is earlier, like in the last 2 years, couple of years, the entire focus was on the growth, like the growth at any cost. But nowadays, like the focus has been shifted towards like from growth to a sustainable growth. So every business is now more focused towards bringing efficiency in their businesses, how they can actually retain their customers better, and with the rising like cost of acquisition costs rising at a like higher levels, and every focus is how we can retain better and bring more value in the brand. And on the challenges side, I would say like the biggest challenge that we see is for any new age brand is like the product discovery, how they can actually take their product to the end customer. And I think ONDC is going to play a huge role. Nowadays, like the lowest entry barriers that we have is majorly the marketplaces where we have to list the products and sell. But after that, like there is no easy option, or you can say the entry barriers are very high. So ONDC, I think, is going to play a very huge role in democratizing the entire e-commerce and easy customer acquisition. And last, I would like to thank you everyone. Thanks everyone for joining us today, and the entire Unicommerce team for making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav Gupta. We truly appreciate your presence here.